It was a crisp December evening in Washington, D.C., when Donald Trump unveiled his most audacious plan yet. As former president, and still a towering figure in global politics, he had set his sights on a new ambition: annexing Canada. In a televised address, Trump leaned into the podium, his voice full of conviction. For too long, Canada and the United States have operated as neighbors. But imagine what we could achieve as one. Shared resources, unified defense, unparalleled influence. We can make it happen, and I'm the man to do it. The speech ignited a firestorm of opinions. While critics decried it as imperialistic, supporters hailed it as a visionary move that could secure North America's dominance on the world stage. Late that night, Trump sat in his private office, poring over maps and strategic reports. Despite the public confidence he exuded, doubts gnawed at the edges of his mind. He whispered to himself, "Is this the right thing to do? Is this part of a greater plan?" As he pondered, a soft glow filled the room. Startled, he looked up to see a figure stepping out of the light. It was Jesus, his robe simple but radiant, his expression calm, yet commanding. "Donald," Jesus said, his voice steady, "I've come to discuss your plan." Trump stood, equal parts amazed and apprehensive. "Jesus? You're here? About Canada?" Jesus smiled faintly. "Yes. You're embarking on a path that could reshape nations, but it's important to understand the weight of your decisions." Jesus gestured for Trump to sit. The two faced each other, the room filled with an otherworldly warmth. Trump leaned forward. "So what do you think? Is annexing Canada the right move?" Jesus' gaze was steady. "That depends. Are you pursuing this out of pride or purpose? Are you seeking to uplift or to dominate?" Trump hesitated, then replied, "It's about strength, unity, and securing the future. Isn't that worth pursuing?" Jesus nodded. "Unity is a noble goal, but true unity cannot be forced. It must be built on trust, respect, and a shared vision." Annexation will bring challenges: political, cultural, and spiritual. Are you prepared to lead not as a conqueror, but as a servant? Trump's voice softened. "If this is part of a greater plan, I want to do it right." Jesus extended his hand, and suddenly the room transformed. Trump found himself standing at the U.S.-Canada border. In the vision, he saw two paths unfold before him. In one, the annexation was chaotic, filled with protests, resentment, and division. Cities burned, economies faltered, and the dream of unity crumbled into discord. In the other, the annexation was carefully planned and executed with mutual respect. Leaders from both nations worked together, merging strengths while preserving cultural identities. The vision showed thriving communities, strengthened alliances, and a future of shared prosperity. "This," Jesus said, pointing to the second path, "is the way to success. It requires humility, collaboration, and the willingness to listen. Will you lead with these values?" Trump nodded, his voice firm. "I will." Over the next year, Trump's vision became reality. Through careful negotiation and relentless effort, the United States and Canada entered into a historic agreement. The annexation wasn't a hostile takeover. It was framed as a partnership. Canadian provinces retained significant autonomy, preserving their culture and governance while benefiting from increased economic opportunities and military security. Meanwhile, the U.S. gained access to Canada's vast natural resources and strategic advantages. Trump, ever the showman, held a massive rally on Parliament Hill in Ottawa to celebrate the unification. Standing beside Canadian leaders, he declared, "Today, we are not just neighbors, we are one family. Together, we will achieve greatness like never before." The annexation marked a turning point in North American history. Critics who once scoffed at the idea were silenced as the benefits became evident. Economies flourished, infrastructure projects bridged the continent, and a renewed sense of purpose united the people. Trump, now seen as both a controversial and transformative figure, often reflected on the encounter that had shaped his approach. While he never publicly spoke of his meeting with Jesus, those close to him noticed a change. He was bolder, yet more thoughtful, driven by a sense of legacy that transcended personal ambition. Years later, the United States of North America stood as a global superpower, a testament to what collaboration and vision could achieve. Trump's role in the annexation was enshrined in history books. But for him, the true victory was the fulfillment of a divine calling. On quiet nights, he would sit by the fire, gazing at the glowing map of the unified continent, and whisper a quiet prayer of gratitude. "Thank you for guiding me.